Alright you guys, so I decided to use this box that I picked up from Hobby Lobby as my trunk for heading to camp. And it basically is just a box. Like I said, you could use a train case, you can use a regular cardboard box or shoe box, you know, anything that has a lid that you can open up and put items in there. So basically what I'm going to start out with, I've decided I'm going to kind of do like a collage work on my case and on my box. And you know, I went back and forth on whether I should do like a you know, like a girl, a fairy, words. So I'm just gonna play right now and see what happens. But I think since this is kind of a smoothie surface, I'm gonna go ahead and just put a layer of gesso down, and then that way it kind of will help if I paint, you know, it'll kind of help adhere that paint and prepare the surface. So again, this could work with white paint. I do think I'm going to be probably adding a lot of like bits of material and ribbon and things like that, but I just wanted to prepare the surface just in case if I had some paint that I'm going to be doing over it. So I'm just going to close. I'm just doing a really light surface here, and then I'm going to show you while this dries, I'm going to show you really quick what I've gathered. So in my one video that I posted on Instagram, I talked about this train case that I have full of like vintage materials and things that I've picked up. So look how fun that is. And so I'm going to be putting this on there. I'm just going to be kind of, I just pulled this lace out. I've got tons of lace. And so yeah, so I'm just going to be actually just grabbing and gluing. I'm going to be using I still have the mirror down here from this train case. This has been a work in progress train case, but look, wouldn't that be fun to put on there? This little like doilies and things like that. So yeah, so just make it whimsical. There's no rules. It's just, let's just play and have fun. Oh, look at that. That is really a lot of fun too. Some of it, I don't know if you guys feel this way, but this is like a perfectly good little lace doily. So I would not want, well, I might cut it. I mean, what is it doing? It's sitting in this box. It's not getting displayed or played with or anything like that. And so this way it has a purpose. It becomes to have a purpose. So yeah, so I'm going to go grab some more, like this one here. It's kind of, it wasn't finished or it was torn up or something like that. So I feel better about this. So I'm going to put that one over there. So yeah, if you ever grab these, like if you're ever at like a show or like at a estate sale or something like that, just grab them, and you never know when you can use this product, use stuff. So I'm going to actually go get some ribbon, and I'm going to get some handkerchiefs. I'm going to be using some handkerchiefs on here. You can put, I mean, just random material. Just grab it and we'll start playing with it. And I'm probably going to go ahead and like cut some in little bits, and so that way we're not just cutting on while we're filming. So go gather your thing. Oh my goodness, I forgot about this. I had this little crochet dress. Now that is cute. We're going to leave that out because we might be able to do something with that with Camp Make Believe. Alright you guys, so go gather some ribbon and I will be right back. Okay, so I cut some material here. Lots of different materials and things like that. And then I'm using Mod Podge, and actually the type of Mod Podge that I'm using is called Collage Podge. It's an instant. I've talked about this several times. I use this on everything. I use this on my canvases and all the things. So but regular Mod Podge works, or Liquid-X will work as well. So use what you have. Is hopefully you have one of those three things in your stash. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out with creating, we're going to put, this is going to be a layering process. So excuse my dog, of course he wants to bark right when I start filming. But we're going to layer with material, and then we're going to come back and do some stamping. We're basically going to be making this like a mixed media piece. So so let me go ahead and kind of like figure out how we're gonna layer everything down before I start just throwing things on there, even though that's what I want to do. But and typically it will work if you do that as well. But I'm just gonna kind of like piece some of these things together and just see what they look like here. Alright, you guys, so I went off camera for when my dog was barking, but I just wanted to kind of space this out, and so you kind of get an idea. It doesn't mean that this is going to be exactly how it looks, because actually I think I'm going to be adding some paper back here, because I think I'm just going to do that. So I'm going to go ahead. I love this. This is like a canvas piece, and I just cut the flower out. So anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and take all this back off again, and you can see the some of it's already kind of sticking down because of the gesso, which is perfectly fine. So I'm going to start and I'm going to get a new paintbrush, I think. I didn't bring, you want to get like a really extra wide paintbrush, and I thought I brought my paintbrushes out here, but I just have some detail ones, and I have this large one that I use, which I'm fine with just cleaning it off and using it again. Okay, so I'm going to start, and I'm just going to put this over the top of this. And this dries clear. Most Mod Podge does dry clear. But what I really, and I brag about this all the time, and I used to be able to pick it up at Hobby Lobby, but they don't carry it anymore. So I buy mine on Amazon. And I will try to remember to link it below. If not, please ask questions and I'll tell you what it is. But I buy it because it doesn't create like a stickiness. Like sometimes when I do it just depends. I don't know. I don't know if it depends on the weather when you apply it or what, but when I do the regular like Mod Podge, not Liquid-X, but regular Mod Podge, that's when I notice that it's, I don't know, it just sticks sometimes. So I'm just going to start adding some papers on here, just like that, just to kind of put a background on here, and then I'm going to layer my material, because for one, I think it will kind of cover up the background. Not that I don't like this, but I want to have some different ones. This is actually a paper line I got at Tuesday morning yesterday. I have been wanting it. It's Practically Perfect, which I thought it is oh gosh, my brain is not working all of a sudden. But I've been wanting, it's an Echo Park brand, and it's Mary Poppins. That's what I'm looking for, Mary Poppins. And so I thought it's going to be perfect with this class. And also I just love the paper because it's so pretty. Look at the books. You can't go wrong with papers with books on them. So, and actually I like the other side too. So I'm just ripping this up, no rhyme or reason to it, and just, again, you want to, even though I'm applying this, it's drying, so you want to make sure that you have enough glue on the top and on the bottom too, so it doesn't, it sticks. Now if you're doing big sheets, I've had people tell me this, how do you keep your stuff from bubbling? What I normally do, especially if I'm working on like a canvas or something, or even this, if you want to cover all in paper. Okay, I was like, I put my books upside down. Sometimes the paper will bubble, and that's usually what, if you let it rest overnight, that's what I call it, resting, then a lot of times the bubbling will go away. Not all the time, but a lot of times that's what I do if I'm working on canvases, adding that first layer of paper. It just let it rest overnight, and it will typically clean itself. It'll not clean itself, but flatten itself out. So okay, see, even if you wanted to just do paper, I mean, look how beautiful that is. And we're going to be adding another layer of like random paint. Like I said, this is your project. I'm just kind of we're going to camp, so I want my box to look not like anybody else's trunk, right? Because it's mine, and I want it to resemble who I am. So again, if you, a lot of times, like I love the shabby chic, and I've talked about this before where I love the shabby chic look, but I can never go with all the white because I love color and patterns and mixing patterns like polka dots and leopard and cheetah and paisley and all the things. So yeah, but it sure would be pretty to have a shabby chic as well. I did want to tell you guys too, I have a Pinterest. I go back and forth on Pinterest, and I've been actually using it more than what I ever have this past year. And but I created a board called Can't Make Believe. And so there's some suitcases on there that I have tagged, and just some different ideas that I have been going back and forth. So if you guys want to check it out, you also kind of get a little sneak peek on some of my plans for this camp. And right now I'm just kind of selecting ones that I really and truly, because I know that after I'm applying this, I'm really selecting the ones that I want to make sure that I put on here. I also wanted to mention, because when I was looking in for some ribbon, I came across some of my grandmother. She used to wasn't crochet. She used to, maybe it was, but she didn't do the big blankets and stuff. She did like doilies and everything. And I got a box of her stuff. But it wasn't like it's completed. Some of it was completed, some of it wasn't. But I always like to add little bits and bobs from her little box, just because I feel like it keeps her memory, you know, and I get to add it to a project that I'm working on. And so I love doing that. She used to always make us little doilies and colorful doilies and dish rags. I know she always called them dish rags, but it's so much work to use as dish rags. But I tell you what, those were some of the best dish rags. Isn't that hippo? That me and my daughter both love hippo. So, oh, speaking of my daughter, I wanted to show you guys, when I was putting this idea together, it reminded me of several years ago, we were watching a Hallmark, and I think I probably have mentioned this in probably around Christmas, because it was a Christmas Hallmark show. But it was one that she made a memory box, and in that memory box, I'm gonna cut that. She put all this stuff that she wanted to do when she got older. And then, no, I'm sorry. It was a box that had memories in it, but inside that box was those lists that when she got older for Christmas, she wanted to do certain things, because she didn't get to do like skiing and building a snowman and doing a gingerbread house. Anyway, it's one of my favorite Hallmark Christmas shows. But she, anyway, my daughter, this was several years ago, my daughter made a box, and it reminded me of what we're doing today. And so I went in her room and dug it out. She's actually not here this week. She's visiting my parents. That's a handkerchief. It looks so pretty. That's another thing. I collected handkerchiefs for so long and hoarded them. And I used to give them to friends, and friends would give them to me, etc., etc. But look how pretty. I mean, you can use them on your artwork or on your craft projects. So anyway, going back to the box, I'm going to show you guys after I put this layer on, because after this layer we're going to let this dry before we add our other layer. And I don't know, I'm kind of like thinking I want to definitely add some wording on here. I don't think I'm going to add my name, just because if you looked at the pre-camp ideas that we're going to be doing, we're going to be making a name badge / luggage thing. luggage thingy. And isn't that pretty? Anyway, we're gonna be making a luggage tag. That's what I'm looking for. And so I definitely want to, I don't know how I'm gonna add it to this, but I'm going to brainstorm that idea too, because you've got to have your name on your trunk, right? Maybe I'll even put it on the side. But anyway, we're gonna be doing, that's one of our projects for pre-camp, is to do that. Is that a hair or a yarn? Piece of string. I think it was a piece of hair. Sorry about that. And see, you can tell that it's really white, but when it's dry, it's going to dry clear. Let's see, is there anything else that I want to put as this first layer? I think I want to add that. I may have to go cut more of these flowers, because I tell you what, I am really liking these. But I have some felt flowers too that I'm going to be adding. I don't know if that's string or if that's still that same hair. That keeps getting in the way. Okay. So let's let that dry, and let me show you the box, my daughter's box. Okay, so this is her little memory box. And isn't that fun? Look at all the, I mean, it's just wild and crazy, and I mean, it's just fun. Oh, it's 2016. Well, it's been more than a few years. But anyway, I'll just kind of pop it open. But she kind of adds her little stuff. Oh, she got a little $2 bill, her Bible, some pictures, eye prescription. Anyway, I thought this was just so cute, and I wanted to share it as part of things that she created, and kind of how I envision this this box as well. So may not have as many three-dimensional, but definitely the collage element to it. All right, so I'm gonna let this dry, and then we'll come back on and add our next layer. All right, so I let this dry overnight, and I actually went ahead and did the sides. If you can see that, as you can see, I just kind of tore the paper and added different papers and material, just like I did to the top. I didn't do the bottom because it doesn't get seen anyway. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add another layer, and I'm gonna let it dry. I am loving these flowers so much. They're actually a canvas, a material canvas, and I cut some more up. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and add these as well, and then I'm gonna let those dry, not overnight, but I'm gonna let those dry here, and then I will start adding the next layer. I think the next layer, what I'll do is I'm going to add some paint and then do some stamping. So again, it's if you're happy with just having the I was going to see how this would look. If you're happy with just having the paper, you know, you basically, this is a process where you can just add about anything. You just keep embellishing and layering till your heart's desire, and till you get exactly the look that you're wanting. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna add the layers until my heart's desire. And but no, I've hoarded this material for a really long time. I've got it from Hobby Lobby, and it's in the canvas where it's that printed canvas. So, and anyway, after I looked at that one on the front, I was like, oh my gosh, I totally love that. And I wanted one to kind of overlap here where the lid is. Now, I was a little bit concerned with this particular type of box because it has that magnetic strip in the front for closure, but I played around with it last night when I added some paper just to see if it would still close, and it does. So so just because I didn't add that much material on the front section here. I mostly just did the paper, and because I was a little worried that the material might keep it from what do you call it, closing. And so, but no, I didn't have any problems at all. And you can see that it dried clear as well. And I did, I was very generous with the Mod Podge, because the decoupage, because I just didn't want, I wanted to make sure that it got all the places to adhere. So, and I love the way this kind of looks like where it's draped over. Now the problem, not the problem, but I could see where the issue could be if you, on the side here, since it opens up, you don't want to keep it from opening. So, since this is, let me check this out. Since this is on that back side, this will probably work just fine. This one right here. So, and then I may just add that. And that's gonna be perfect. And I just fussy cut these flowers out of that material. I was gonna have the material here for you. Oh, here it is. I knew I was gonna keep it here because I was kind of cleaning up my area. So this is the actual material. Let's see if I can get a good view of this. And I just fussy cut out the flowers that are on there. So I'm going to add this one more flower on here, and then I'm going to let this dry. And then we'll come back and add some paint. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue this down, put another layer on top, and then I'll be back to paint. Alright, so my next step is I just put some random colors here on the paper plate, and I'm just going to be kind of filling in like around the edges here. I like to sometimes emphasize on the actual like surfaces, like these flowers I'll probably add paint to. And then let's see here. Yeah, I'll probably do the same, kind of just around, just filling in, because you know I can come back in here and write in words and letters and put, like, I kind of pulled these out of my stash where, you know, I could put follow your dreams on there or something like that. So and again, just keep in mind that once you get your basis down, you don't have to do it all in one sitting. You can come back and, you know, fill it in as you go along, as you come up with ideas. It's a work in progress, so it's always, you can add things as you go along. But I'm going to just kind of show you guys how I'm going to do the front here. And then I think at this point you'll get an idea of what you want to include on the sides. I may just let mine rest, as I call it, resting for a while, until I get ready to, we're going to be doing the inside next. And so yeah, I'm just going to kind of get a feel for what I want to put on the sides. But I'll go ahead, we're going to go ahead and get the cover done so you guys get an idea about adding paint to it. Now, one of the things I know I had when at the very beginning, I pulled out my doilies, and I do want to add them. And I think what I decided to do, and actually I'm just using, this is a size 12 paintbrush, and it's just a rounded paintbrush, and I'm just globbing on the paint and just kind of randomly just following the kind of the lines of the flower, just to give it that little bit more dimension look. And this is a great opportunity, if you're not crazy about the coloring, you can change the colors. But going back to my beautiful little doilies here, I think what I'm going to do is come in here, and I'll probably pop on a video, but see how, I love that. But I feel like at this point I have to hot glue some of these on. So maybe after I paint, I'll come back in and add, because I do want to show you guys how I add the different layers of these. And plus I have this whole box of doodads. I call them my doodad box. And it just has different random unicorns, rainbows. Yeah, I'll do that. So we're gonna paint here. I'm getting excited just looking at that box. I love my doodad box. So I'm going to just come in here and paint the surface, and then I will, once that paint dries, then I will come in and do my doodads on the cover, on the front of it. So, okay. So I'm just mixing in white because it kind of gives, I love that look of the white. I took a class by Trisha Robinson, and she kind of picked that up from her, because if you look at hers paintings, they've got a lot of like white in it, and she does that mixture at the beginning, and I just love that. So again, I am covering up some of the details on that flower, but I like the painted look over this material. And this is kind of where you want to get an idea. You know, pink is my signature color, and so I'm going to be doing some pink around the edges here. And I'm just randomly, you know, swishing the paint along the edge. You can change it up as you go. Oh Lord. I do not know why we want to hop when we drive. It just gets poke all excited. So excuse the bark. Yes, he is just a little Dachshund. Actually, I don't know if he's going to stop. Let's go. Let me go let him out. Okay. Now the other thing I like to do is kind of make my own flowers too. And they can be fairly easy. Like I just do this round motion here. And then I'll let that dry, and then I'll come in and add like different color swirls in there to give it like dimension. I'll make a little leaf here, and then once that dries, come in with the dark the darkness, the dark leaf, and then let's see, are you guys getting a good, there we go, fills up the whole screen there. Oh, my yellow kind of dried out there. Okay. Alright, so the last thing here, we can put some orange on here. I like it just kind of like it is, but I do love adding the little paint. Layering up with paint as well. Just be carefree with it. The fun thing about this is if you don't like it, you can come back in and repaint over it. That's the joy of painting with acrylics. I just mixed on all that blue and my white. I wasn't even thinking. And then I'm just going to kind of come in here and add a couple little flowers. They're just basic little brush strokes, and then I'll come in and add some centers once they dry. And sometimes I look for, like, especially around here, like if this is, whoops, let me go, you know, I can do purple. I was going to go put yellow here, but one thing that I kind of look for too when I'm doing projects like this is just where it might meet the paper and it just kind of looks a little open, like rough, you know, then I'll just kind of add some more paint just to kind of cover up those lines a little bit. But like I said, it's only if it like bothers you. I think Pokey has a napkin. Or maybe his bone. It's hard to video. I know we have, it's like when you have kids, you think it's kids. When you have dogs, you think it's dogs, cats. But, alright. So, I may go in here, and it looks, that's one thing about acrylic paint too, is it fairly dries fast. Depending on the thickness, you know. But, I'm just kind of adding some little leaves over here. To these flowers. You can add some polka dots. And that's the other thing too, is you can use like the Posca acrylic markers, and those work great as well. So I'm going to go ahead and grab, oh, you know what, oh, here it is, it's right here. I thought I brought it in here. Well, oh, there it is. I'm going to grab some yellow paint here. I'm just plopping these on. And I grabbed kind of a thinner brush on this one, being the other one was pretty glumpy with the green paint, and was turning things, everything I was painting, because I wasn't wiping it off good enough. But I love yellow. It's so pretty. It's just so happy. And so, oh, ooh, that's a big glob. And then like also, okay, here is something else I like to do. See how this is like really yellow back here? Sometimes I'll just add more yellow paint to emphasize the yellow. And it is a polka dot, but once you start adding your layers on, sometimes you just don't see it. And actually, I'm going to kind of make this little blob into somewhat a flower. Okay, so I'm going to add some red here. This is some paint that I picked up at Target. It's the Target brand, but I don't know, this is a little bit it's a little bit different to me from what I've bought in the past from them. It's more translucent when I put it on the artwork, when I use it. I can't say that's for every color, but I did get some of the neon color, and this is called Summer Red, I think. Oh, Summer Strawberry. And so I noticed it's a little bit more, not as thick as their other paint used to be. So I actually, it looks different, so I actually thought it was another brand, but like on top of their brand. Okay, so I had a brief interruption. Gosh. I am basically just kind of flip this over, and I am going to finish painting the flower that runs, so that way it matches the top, like that. Got the yellow. So pretty. All right, we're gonna have that dry, and then we will come back and add our doodads embellishments. Let me get a bigger screen here. You can see the full box cover. Now, do you think you'll be able to recognize your box at camp? I think so. Alright you guys, so to wrap this video up, I have pulled out embellishments and I've just kind of placed them places here and there. These are just part of my doodads box that I have with just little things on there. I did, and these are just little felt cutouts. I did draw these on here. They're just old little note card things, ephemera. And so I just put play on here because I still wanted to kind of have that playfulness look to it. So I'm going to go ahead and Mod Podge these down while I'm waiting for my hot glue gun to heat up. And then I'll just pop these on here. So like I said, you don't have to come up with exactly what you want to do, because like this was kind of a last minute. I definitely wanted some wording, but I wanted something that you know, went along with not only our camp, but also something that you could have that kind of reminds you of what you want to do. So I want to play, I want to have fun, and so I thought play is a fun word to put on here. I was thinking about create, I was thinking about dream, but play ended up sticking out. As you can see, I'm going to be covering up some of my artwork, the painting that I did, and that's okay. That's the fun thing. Like I said, when you get to getting into this, you may realize, oh, I want to add a little bit more. Now, I used some Crayola markers, and as you can see, it's kind of smearing, which I'm okay with that. So, if you're not, I would definitely use more of a permanent marker, but I may go over that with some paint once it's dry, so that it doesn't look so smeared. But for now, it may actually kind of give it, because I wasn't really liking that ivory background. So yeah, so I think probably what I'll end up doing is go over it with some paint. And we talked about glitter, so we're going to be adding some sparkle here. And then I have some Mod Podge glitter that I've been using here and there, so that's definitely something that I'll add. But once I add that, I like to, okay, my hot glue gun's ready. I like to also have it sit overnight. So I wanted to definitely put some pom-poms on here, but I didn't want them to be invasive with the top, because I still want to be able to, in case I do stack this, which I probably won't be able to with some of this embellishment, but with the pom-poms, it definitely would be an issue when it comes to stacking. So just keep that in mind too. Now if you're doing a train case, more than likely you won't be stacking the train case on top with anything because you have the handle. But with boxes, just kind of keep that in mind when you're deciding what you want to put on the top of your box. And I save every little piece because you just never know when you're going to have a project that it works perfectly on. Now with this, being that it is kind of straggly on one side, I decided I would just kind of have it hanging off, and then I'll just glue it. Actually, let's see how that's going to work. if I glue it, I may actually just cut this off, because if I glue that, it's gonna, it doesn't have anywhere to go. On the front it does, but on this side it does not. Okay. All right. Oh, and I think I just put my glue sticks up. I need another glue stick. And also, on another note, you can also use the Fabric Fix glue on this as well. If I can get it to come, okay, here we go. This is great stuff. I use it in my journals all the time, and it really does, it gets kind of stringy, but it really is a good glue. So I'm just kind of putting it around, not necessarily in the middle, so we don't have any glue leakage issues. And then when you get the new bottles, it does work so much better, but you don't want to not use up your glue. And I'm just going to put it on each one of these. Hot glue would work too. Okay. Now, I had a little, here we go. This is one of the things, it's kind of a three-dimensional embellishment, but I thought I would kind of put it over here on the side. Whoops. I did get my glue sticks. Oh, ouchies. Yeah, be careful on that with that mesh. Okay. So my next, I love my wings. Girl's gotta have her wings. Even the Fabric Fix would work on here. I bet even Mod Podge would work on these flatter pieces. But I like putting a generous amount of hot glue. And I actually bought the Gorilla hot glue sticks. I've never used them before, but I'm thinking that they would probably hold very well. This little, well, a lot of these I ordered off of, you can order them off of Amazon, Etsy. I've ordered things off AliExpress, but just kind of look up embellishments, or sometimes they call them like things for, like this is for slime, and it's just plastic. But I like to use them for charms and little embellishments. And I have to tell y'all a story on these felt flowers. My friend has a Sizzix, and she came over and I said, oh, bring your Sizzix and your flower one die cut. Anyway, I sat there through a whole movie and just cut flowers after flowers of with her Sizzix, and I use the heck out of them too. So I'm just going to put a little layer on there. Let's see, and I think I was going to add this to the side here. And then one more little piece, and I think I feel good about this. There we go. Make sure everything is on there. I might put a little bit more glue over here. Alright, you guys, it's so fun. Oh yeah, and then one more thing. This is that Mod Podge that I was talking about. And it's actually sparkly, so you can add, like say for instance if you wanted to add, oops, well there we go, it made its own choice, like just sparkle right here, and it actually is a glue as well, so it'll adhere it just like it would the Mod Podge or the decoupage, but it's going to add some sparkle. So yeah, so I'm going to do this, and then when we go to do the inside of our trunk, I'll show you how it looks. And then I think I'm going to add a little bit to the centers of these flowers as well. We've got to have some sparkle. And this you can find on Amazon as well. Let me put some on this little rainbow. Alright, you guys. Well, I can't wait to see what you created. You can share it on Instagram. Just use CWR Can't Make Believe, and or share it on Facebook as well. And we would all love to see what your trunk looks like for camp. Alright, see you in my next video.